This guide will show the assembly of Olivia's 10 LED EMF meter, updated version R2. This PC board was sponsored by PCBWay. Let's first discuss some of the supplies you will need. Since this assembly has some surface mount parts, you will want a fine soldering iron tip and small diameter solder. Some flux and solder braid can come in handy too. Besides these items, a small pair of wire cutters will be needed. There's an option to hand solder, and you can also use a hot plate to solder multiple surface mount parts at the same time. This guide will cover mostly new areas that are different from my previous video. I'll reference the other video as needed. I did not pre-drill the holes for mounting the antenna and battery pack in case you wanted to change the layout. If you are following my design based on the TV prop, then drill 5 holes 1/8 inch into the PCB for battery holder and fake screw, 2 9/64 inch holes for the antenna mounts. The bottom silkscreen has marks for the hole locations. I also offer the PCB pre-drilled. Once the holes are drilled, you'll want to solder all the surface mount parts first. Once that's complete, then you can move on to the LEDs. If you have an LED tester, you can test them before soldering them to the board. Look to the back of the board for the LED markings. The anode of the 5 left side LEDs and the 5 right side LEDs will point toward the center of the board. Place the LED into the top of the board and bend such that the casing just clears the PCB edge. Once you have the LEDs positioned, solder them into place. Portions of this video may speed up. The first side is complete. I'll go back and solder the top tab for each of the LEDs to give them a little more strength. Now to complete the other side. You can now quickly test the LEDs to make sure that they're all still functioning. I'll now install the LM3914 to the top of the board. This and the LEDs will be the only functional parts on top. There is a light silkscreen outline to help with placement. Pin 1 will be on the left side. For through-hole parts, I usually solder one pin and then check that the part is flush before soldering the remaining pins. Using the JP1 solder pads, you can select bar or dot mode for the LED display. Bar will be on the right side and dot will be on the left. I'll now move on to installing the resistors, then the capacitors. These will all be installed on the bottom side. Keep the leads as short as possible so they do not poke through the top. I've now installed the 3 6mm tactile switches and will solder them into place. And now for the 10 position rotary switch. This one will need to be soldered from the top of the board. Now to install variable resistor RV1. It can be soldered from either side of the board. I'll now install the DF player module for the sound effects. To be able to save the sound level between power cycles, you will need to add one modification. A jumper is needed between pin 4 of the AT-Tiny 1604 to the DF player pin 3. It will be easier to add this jumper now, then install the DF player. Crystals are next. There are silkscreen boxes on the bottom PCB for crystal locations. I'll remove the plastic insulators of most of the crystals. A few will need some insulation to protect solder connections underneath. Check these 5 crystals in the middle to make sure they are not shorting any components. Either add more height or place an insulator under the crystal. Much of the following will be to match the TV prop version. They have no actual functionality with the design. This portion of the video also closely matches the previous one of this meter. Check it out above for more detail on these sections. Install the relays where marked. You can use the layout guide for their locations. You will only need to solder a few leads on each relay. Note that some pins of the left relay will need to be cut flush with the housing as they collide with the rotary switch below. For this part, I'll use whatever old ICs I have available to place in the 6 IC locations. Markings for these are also on the bottom silkscreen. Now is a good time to go through and review all solder connections and clean up with isopropyl alcohol. Using a variety of colored wire and following the layout guide, I'll add the cosmetic wires. Using some solid copper or enameled wire, I'll make some wire clips to hold the wires in place. Clip locations are marked on the layout guide. There are solder pad areas for attaching wire bundles. Using hot glue, I'll cover the wire clips and bundles. You can also put some on the two capacitors to further secure them. Solder the speaker wire to the LS1 pads. You can then use hot glue to mount the speaker to the bottom of the board, providing clearance for the battery holder standoffs. Attach the battery pack holder with 3mm hardware. The standoff should be about 8 to 10 millimeters in length. Note that there is a fifth screw used to match the TV prop. Mount the antenna with 6/32 mounting hardware. Attach the wire end to a solder pad. Mount the meter with the hardware it comes with. Attach two wires for positive and negative. The silkscreen polarity was incorrect, so there should now be a red dot for the positive lead. Insert some batteries into the power pack and program the AT-Tiny using a UPDI programmer and cable. One is also available from my Tindy store. To adjust the meter deflection, set the rotary switch to position 1 and quickly press and release the red program button. You should see the LED and DC meter deflect and the blue program LED will light up. Adjust RV1 so the meter pointer is at 15. Turning RV1 clockwise increases the meter deflection. Repeat these steps as needed. Please visit my Tindy page for purchasing either blank or assembled boards, and you can check out GitHub for a detailed assembly guide and schematic. The links are provided in the video description below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you to those that have subscribed. Please take a look at my other projects, and if you are not yet a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.